A very good morning to you and welcome to the Morning Outlook Report. I'm Rachel Jones, live from Kalkine TV Sydney studios. Now, Australian shares are set to open higher this morning, and that's despite Wall Street closing lower in overnight trade. Over in the US, investors appeared anxious ahead of fresh reporting season, which may potentially influence the Federal Reserve's future moves on rate hikes. Rising weakness in underlying commodity prices due to renewed COVID-19 curbs in China may restrict gains for domestic mining and gold shares. The latest ASX futures are suggesting that the benchmark ASX 200 index would open 20 points or 0.3% higher. Now, yesterday, the benchmark index ended 0.45% higher at 6,678 points. Looking to some important business news from this morning now, and Carnarvon Energy has raised $61 million from retail investors to help fund its acquisition of Orbost Gas Processing Plant from the APA Group. Total proceeds of the equity raising of $244 million will satisfy the condition precedent to the company's acquisition and will be primarily used to fund the upfront payment of $210 million for that acquisition. Now, this follows an institutional placement that raised $183 million. Carnarvon Energy expects to complete the acquisition by late July this year. And Spark New Zealand today announced the Ontario Teachers Pension Plan Board will acquire a 70% interest in its TowerCo business. Spark's TowerCo business is a leading New Zealand towers business with approximately 1,263 sites. The transaction values the business at 1.17 billion New Zealand dollars. Spark expects net cash proceeds of $900 million at completion, which is subject to Overseas Investment Office approval and is anticipated to occur in the first half of financial year 2023. Now, under the terms of the deal, Spark has entered into a 15-year agreement with TowerCo to secure access to existing and new towers with a build commitment of 670 sites over the next 10 years. And Carnarvon Energy's renewable diesel business Future Energy Australia has signed a non-binding memorandum of understanding with the regional Western Australia power provider Horizon Power. The MOU provides a framework for organisations to pursue a strategic partnership on renewable diesel project development and production. Well, now it's time for a very short break, but stay tuned for more news set to affect your trading day.
Hi there, James Preston for Kalkine TV. Are you into gaming and virtual reality? Does AI and the endless possibilities it entails capture your interest? Or are you constantly trawling through the web to try and discover the latest updates and innovations in the tech space? Well, let us do the work for you. From the latest product launches to shocking affairs on the World Wide Web, exclusive interviews and information about the top companies like Apple and Google to brand new tech startups vying for your attention. Kalkine's Tech Beat has the latest in what matters in the world of technology. Join me every single Thursday on The Tech Beat, exclusive to Kalkine TV.
Welcome back to the Morning Outlook Report. Now let's take a look on Wall Street, and the Dow Jones fell 0.5%, the S&P 500 declined 1.2%, and the Nasdaq ended 2.3% lower. Over in Europe, the Stoxx 50 fell 1%, the FTSE was flat, the CAC declined 0.6% and the DAX ended 1.4% lower. MSCI's gauge of stocks across the world shed 1.17%. Japan's Nikkei was up 1.11% and Chinese blue chip shed 1.9%. Meanwhile, the central banks of Canada and New Zealand are likely to tighten their monetary policies further this week. Oil prices remained almost unchanged as markets balanced a likely fall in demand on account of mass testing for coronavirus in China against ongoing fears around tight supply. Brent futures for September delivery advanced 0.1% to finish at $107.10 a barrel. WTI crude fell 0.7% to settle at $104.09. On Monday, gold prices declined to a 9-month low on concerns that fresh rate hikes with the US dollar rising. US gold futures fell 0.6% at $1,731. Iron ore prices slipped in Asia yesterday, and that was on concerns about falling demand for the raw materials in China due to those fresh COVID-19 curbs. The most traded iron ore for September delivery on China's Dalian Commodity Exchange ended 3.3% lower at 741 yuan a tonne. Well, that's all for our Morning Outlook report here on Kalkine TV. Have a great day trading. Stay tuned for more market updates and economic news live throughout the day. This is Rachel signing off for now.